Hi, my name is James Nielsen. This is for FTT111, and today's date is July 7th, 2024. And in today's video, I will be performing the Fastener Repair Lab. All right, let's get started. The first objective in this lab is to drill 3 perfectly spaced holes in this block of aluminum. As you can see, I've already used my layout fluid, or this blue Sharpie, to mark the surface of the block, and then I'm going to go ahead and take the caliper and measure it. So our block measures in at 2 by 4.0. So that makes measuring this out very simple. So our first mark is going to be down the center line. It's going to be at 1 inch. So we'll go ahead and set our caliper at 1 inch. We'll lock it down. And we'll go ahead and scribe our block. So we have our center line marked. Now we can go ahead and mark our center line this way, which will be at 2 inches. All right, then we go ahead and scribe. Next line, we're going to go to 1 inch. We'll lock that in place and scribe it. Now, we could just flip it over this way and mark another 1 inch there, but we'll actually go ahead and put this on 3 inches and go ahead and scribe it. Now, if we flip it this way, we should be at 3 inches on that line, as well as if we switch it back to 1 inch, we should be at 1 inch on this line, which we are. So now we have our cross sections where we will be drilling our holes. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this in the vise so we can go ahead and use our center punch to mark each intersection. And now we're going to go ahead and use our center punch to mark our 3 intersections. The next step is going to be to drill our pilot hole. All right, so we have on our center drilling bit, and we're just going to go ahead and start these holes. All right, now that we have our holes started, we'll go ahead and take our drill bit and drill out these holes. All right, now we have our 3 evenly spaced holes drilled. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and tap them. Now, aluminum is very soft, but anytime you're tapping anything, it's a good idea to use some tapping fluid or some sort of lubricant. So I'm gonna put a little bit of accuracy oil on my tap and get our tap started, making sure to have the tap handle perfectly aligned with the hole. Yeah, our first hole is tapped. All right, there's our 3rd hole tapped. All right, so now I'll be taking this here screw. I'll be placing it into our block. And now that it's in our block, I'm going to go ahead and grab a improper screwdriver, and we're going to mess up the head of the screw. This looks like a good candidate. All right, so we're going to put this in here. We're just going to kind of try to mess up this thing a little bit. All right. Can you guys see that? It's pretty boogered up. So now we're gonna go ahead and use our proper screwdriver, and we're gonna go ahead and remove it. All right, so now that it's out, yeah, you can kind of see how boogered up that is. We're gonna go ahead and repair it. All right, so now that we have it reshaped, we're gonna go ahead and chuck it up in our drill. And I have some 400 grit sandpaper, and I'm just gonna go ahead and lightly sand the head of the screw. All right, now that we've done that, you can see that the screw is fresh bare metal. So we'll go ahead and clean that off with a little bit of acetone, and then we'll go ahead and touch it up with our permablue. Just give this head of the screw a nice wipe down with some acetone. And then we can go ahead and take our permablue, and we'll go ahead and re-blue the head of this screw. To do that, we'll take a Q-tip and just dab a little bit into our bluing solution, and we'll go ahead and re-blue this screw head. So as you can see, it's turning a nice gray black color, and we could keep applying the permablue, and we could probably achieve a darker black, but this will do for now. So let's go ahead and reinstall this screw with the proper screwdriver. For our next screw, we're going to go ahead and cross thread it into our second hole. So we'll take our proper screwdriver and our second screw, and we're just going to kind of put it in at an angle and start threading it in. It's very crooked. Well, what we'll do now is go ahead and remove that screw. And we'll go ahead and run our tap back through it. All right, feels good. So now we'll go ahead and reinstall that screw. Now for our third and final screw, we are going to screw this into our aluminum block. I do not have a cutting wheel for my Dremel, so I'm going to utilize this chisel and the hammer, and we're going to go ahead and see if we can break off this screw head. All right, well, I know you probably can't see that, but that did quite a number on that screw, and it's pretty well bent in there. So we're gonna try our best to see if we can drill that out and see if we can actually extract it with our screw extractor. I don't know, it's a little bent over in there, so I guess we'll see what happens. Well, unfortunately, using that large chisel and trying to break the head of this screw off kind of screwed me over here. It bent the screw over, so I wasn't able to actually drill straight down into it. So I was not able to complete that. It's just what it is. I wish I would have had a cutting wheel for that rotary tool. I could have just chopped it off clean and it would have been a very simple removal, but trying to use this very large chisel, it just didn't work out well. So we're gonna go ahead and retry this. I'm gonna take my Dremel tool and just see if I can't sand the head off of this. All right, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to grind the entire head off with that. It's just, I can't, the angle's just not working out here, but I have completely ground out the slot for the screwdriver. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take my center punch and I will punch a hole in the center of this screw head. All right, now we'll go ahead and drill it out. All right, try to remove it. All right, we got that one out. And see if it'll still go into this hole, which it should, since we really only drilled into the bottom portion of the screw head to get that out. So we shouldn't really have affected these threads at all. And as you can see, it went back in just fine. That's the Fastener Repair Lab. It definitely didn't go as planned. I think if I would have had a cutting wheel for my Dremel, I could have easily chopped that off and we wouldn't have had to go through all this extra steps. But no matter, we got it done, and that's all I got. Thanks for watching.